Hi, this is Brian with ActiveMelody.com. Well, for this week's guitar lesson, we're going to go reggae. And most of what gives reggae its sound, its signature sound from a guitar perspective, is the rhythm. It's a very percussive rhythm where you play on the offbeat. And I'm going to show you how to play that. We're going to use 3 basic chords, so it's very simple to do from a chording perspective. It's not very complicated. But I'm going to show you how to play it and how to think about it. And I'm also going to show you how to play a rhythmic lead part that fits nicely on top of the chords. And so that's something you hear a lot in reggae music, is a little palm muted percussive rhythmic lead part. So I'm going to show you how to play that, and that's using just 2 notes, and we can do a lot with those 2 notes from a rhythm standpoint. So we're going to break all of that down in this video. If you'd like to watch the part 2 video, which includes the lead part, and get the tablature and get the MP3 jam track so that you can practice playing along with all of the stuff that we're going to learn in this video, you can get all of that by going to ActiveMelody.com, go to the weekly lessons page, and do a search for EP264. Alright, so this lesson is going to be a short one this week, but it's going to be full of information for those of you that are interested in learning how to play reggae rhythm. And the cool thing about it is it's very easy to do. This isn't complicated. It doesn't matter where you're at as a guitar player. You'll be able to understand this and follow along with it. And so it's even more fun if you've got the MP3 jam track so that you can start filling it in. It's very addictive. You don't want it to end once you get it going. But the key to the whole thing is playing on the offbeat. Now the offbeat is what happens between the numbers when we count. So it's like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Everywhere that I said and was an offbeat. But in reggae you're playing on the offbeat. So that's really all there is from the timing perspective, and that's consistent throughout any reggae song. You'll hear that rhythm always on the offbeat. So let me show you how to play the chords that we're going to use. There's 3 chords. These are basic chords, and then I'll show you the strum pattern with the right hand. So the first chord is a B minor 7 chord. So we're going to bar the first 6 string, or all 6 strings I should say, on the 7th fret. Ring finger goes down on the 9th fret 5th string. It's a B minor 7 chord. The next chord is an E minor 7. So we're going to keep the bar on the 7th fret, but this time our middle finger is going to go down on the 8th fret 2nd string, ring finger goes down on the 9th fret 4th string. And we're going to play strings 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You don't need to play that 6th string. So that's your E minor 7. So you have your B minor 7, E minor 7, and then the last chord is just an A chord. It's just an A major bar chord. I'm barring all 6 strings on the 5th fret, and then these 3 fingers are making up the E chord shape. So if you think of an E chord down in first position, slide it up, and then bar it here on the 5th fret. That's your A chord now. So you have B minor 7, E minor 7, A. Those are the 3 chords. Now the one thing you'll notice is when I play the chords that they don't ring out. So you're not hearing, you're hearing a real quick little controlled burst of sound. And what allows you to do that is left hand muting. And so all you have to do for left hand muting, if you're not familiar with it, or even if you are, maybe there's something you'll pick up on this. But the way that I do it is I just keep my fingers exactly where they are to make the chord, and then I just release them. So I'm pushing down, obviously creating the pressure there to play the note, and then I release the tension like that. So you can see it release there. And by doing that, it ends the sound. But you get to keep your fingers in place, so you're not having to like take them off the fretboard. So that allows you to play like that, little bursts. And that's what you want to practice. If you're new to that style of playing, and this works on an acoustic or electric guitar, it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. You can do this with any guitar, but you're just going to practice over and over again, trying to play little bursts of sound like that and control it with the left hand. Once you're able to do that, that opens up a whole world of possibility for playing rhythm. Once you're able to control those mutes with the left hand, that's where rhythm starts to happen. And that's why you see guitar players playing chords up the neck. I remember wondering that, well, why aren't they just playing chords down here where I learned them? You know, your basic G chord, C chord, all those first position chords. And the reason that they're not playing down here often is because there's those open strings and you can't mute them. But when you're up here, you're barring, you can mute everything. You have full control over the sound. So those are the 3 chords. That's how you strum it. Now the other thing I should mention is to keep the right hand in motion. And you'll notice that, so if we're counting it out, I'm doing a downstroke. It's actually more like a muted downstroke on the 1. So slowly it looks like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and... You can see my hand stays in motion even on the notes that I'm not playing. Now I find that to be easier than just playing. It's easier to screw it up that way, I think, than if you keep your hand in motion. So it's more like you're padding like this. That's easier than if you're just going... You know, you have more opportunity to screw it up if you're just trying to hit where you come in. So keep that in mind as well. See how the hand stays in motion? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so that's the last little tip on that. Now let's put it all together and let me show you how to play the chords for this particular song. So then the way that we play this is we start on that B minor 7. And then when we get to the and, after 4 and, that's where I play the E minor 7. So you can count that out in your head. You can say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, there's the E minor 7. Then we go back to the B minor 7. Okay, so let's try that just from the beginning. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now that time on the and, I did a down up stroke. Now that's somewhat breaking your purist reggae player may not do upstrokes like that. I know a lot of the time, if you watch them, they're just playing on the downbeat or on that offbeat, doing downstrokes and nothing else. But I think to keep it interesting, I did a down upstroke there. But I played that on the and of 4. So, and that's the A chord. And so that's the only time the A is played is in that point. And then we go right back to the B minor 7. That's it. It's just those 3 chords. So from the beginning we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Alright, so let me go ahead and play along with a jam track so that you can hear this in context. And then after that I'm going to show you the 2-note lead, rhythmic lead thing, which is another layer that you hear in a lot of reggae songs. So we'll break that down just after this. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that rhythm lead part that I mentioned is just 2 notes, and we go back and forth. There's some palm muting that's happening to give it that real poppy, percussive sound. But here's what we're going to learn. That's it. It's that simple, but I could just keep looping that over and over again. And as simple as that sounds, it actually works really well with the jam track. In fact, let me just play along with the jam track so that you can hear it in context, and then I'll explain how to do it. So that's really all there is to it. And what I'm doing, by the way, these 2 notes are in the minor pentatonic scale, pattern 1, for B minor. We're going to be playing in B minor. And if you want to just improvise lead over this, if you've got the jam track and maybe you don't even care about the rhythm stuff, just play the B minor pentatonic scale. You can play any of the patterns and you can play all day long in that. It's very fun to do. So these 2 notes are right in pattern 1 of that minor pentatonic scale. So that's the 9th fret 4th string and the 7th fret 4th string. Now, the note isn't ringing out. And that's because I'm letting this part of my hand just rest back here on the strings. And you'll hear that in a lot of... it's kind of a dated sound, actually, to be honest. I mean, I hear it in like Michael Jackson records, like in the 80s, all of his stuff, Off the Wall, Thriller, those albums, you would always hear, I don't even know who was playing guitar on those sessions, but you can hear that percussive little single string thing. And I always attribute it back to reggae, like to the Bob Marley and the Wailers or Peter Tosh and that kind of sound. I'm not sure who came up with it originally, but sometimes that would be following the bass line in the song. But a lot of times it's just creating its own little sound. And so that's all I'm doing. I'm just going back and forth between this 9th fret and the 7th fret. And here's what it sounds like. So it's just down, down, up, down, up, down. Those are the strumming directions with the right hand. And then I go down, up, and then we repeat that. And then I go down, up, but this time on the 7th fret. Back and forth. And then the last time I went down, up, just to give it a little bit of a variation. But that's it. So it's down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up. Alright, so if you're a premium member and you have that jam track, make sure you plug in the rhythm part with the chords and then that little percussive lead rhythm part as well, so that you can start to understand how those layers fit into the jam track. And I've got multiple versions of the jam track so that you can plug those in as needed. If you're not a premium member, you should look into it. It's very affordable. I've been doing this for years. I put out new lessons like this every week and have a back catalog of over 300 lessons. There's courses, and you have access to all of it. So check it out if you haven't done so.